Hi everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Simplified. Apologies for not releasing a video yesterday. I was actually studying for an exam, which I've just finished. It is a pre-course for a master's in digital currency at the University of Nicosia. So I finished the exam, so I'm recording this video right now, and I feel quite optimistic about it. I think I did pretty well, not going to count my chickens, but I will know in a few weeks, and when I do, I'll be sure to announce that you are watching a YouTube channel by someone who is qualified to be teaching you. Yeah! I'm just going to try out something new today to give a more focused type of video. If you do like this, do give me a thumbs up and comment. I'll be putting a card up at the end of the video as well, so that you can vote whether you like this, whether you like my more general market updates, just so that I can tailor my content to give you guys stuff that you like most. Spoiler alert, this coin is called AdEx, and it's just sneaked into the top 100 coins on CoinMarketCap. So in this video, I will tell you what I think about this coin by looking at information they've given us on the white paper. I will just be using the white paper information unless specified otherwise. So without further ado, let's look at the ad industry. Most of the largest agencies in the world are owned by one of these 5 companies. Things have changed even further in recent times with the new biggest ad agencies in history. People spend a lot of time on Facebook's platform as well as Google's multitude of services. Google has YouTube, which is fantastic for keeping people fixed onto one platform because it's very, very easy to binge YouTube content. So these guys are selling your data off to advertisers so that advertisers can see who will be interested in buying their products. If you look back even 10 or 15 years, staying in touch with friends and family and accessing information either required you getting out of the house to go to a library or making long distance phone calls, which were quite expensive. Now with the internet, we streamlined all this, and access to information and access to communication is now cheaper than ever. So this is a trade-off, and privacy is a trade-off, and privacy is a bit of a trade-off for this massive amount of functionality that we get. And as time has gone on, we have realized that our privacy is actually a lot more valuable than what we previously thought. So AdEx wants to fix this system of massive amounts of personalized data farming by making the whole system decentralized and cutting out the middleman by putting advertisers directly in touch with publishers. Publishers are people who push information out to users, and it's expensive hosting information, and it's also expensive paying content creators. This model will only work if there are advertisers willing to push their products on the publishers' platforms so that the users of the platforms will then buy the products. If the quality of advertising goes up, every single party in this system gets a benefit. The advertisers will get more business if their ads get more clicks. Publishers will get more money if advertisers find it useful to advertise on their platform, and users will get benefits by getting access to things that they might genuinely be interested in buying. So there is a lot of room for growth in this space, and AdEx really wants to fix that by cutting out the middlemen. So we can talk about fixing the problem, but we first need to define the problems that we want to fix. So they've given us a nice 9-point list, but I'm only going to talk about 3 because I think they are most applicable to us as users. So the first concern is privacy. We have willingly given up all this information of ours by clicking agree on the terms and conditions of any site that we've signed up for. So it's not something that we can blame people for doing unethically. We have signed up for this. However, the privacy movement is gaining much more traction recently, especially with the revelations of PRISM and the NSA spying. So privacy is a very tangible and salient problem that we have right now in our society. Over the last few years, there's been a massive increase in the use of ad blockers both on desktop and mobile devices. The problem with this is, while it's nice to see a web page that doesn't really have much advertising and flashing things on there, this is problematic for the content publishers because a lot of the time they're giving you absolutely free content, but they have costs like servers to keep running. They have to pay their content providers. And also every business needs a bit of profit to incentivize further development and growth in the business. By blocking ads, you're technically affecting the earning module of these sites. Yes, ads look awful, but we need to find a better way to make this advertising work. AdEx has discussed that, and I'll look at that soon. So the last problem that I'm going to be covering in this is the lack of focus in advertising. So herein lies the problem. I've given up all this information and I still get ads that I'm not really interested in. So how are AdEx going to actually solve this? Like most cryptocurrencies, AdEx utilizes the blockchain. A great way to explain what a blockchain is an open ledger that maintains anonymities. So you can see what's happened, you can see the actions that have taken place, but you don't know who specifically has done those actions. So what AdEx will do is compartmentalize information. Advertisers will be able to access info about you and all your usage habits without actually knowing that it is you who's doing it. So they'll be able to create models of certain usage habits and then sell the models with very specific data, but advertisers will still find it useful and they'll never know anything personal about you. Your personal information just never leaves this system. It stays personal. A key aspect of what AdEx wants to do is let users cherry pick the data that they want advertisers to see. Let's see how this works in practice once the beta is launched, but I think this is something that a lot of people on the internet could get behind. Next up, ad blockers. So while ads are quite spammy and they could sort of ruin the experience of using a website, we know that they are vital for the survival of companies in this internet ecosystem. So what AdEx wants to do is make less intrusive ads that resemble the content of the websites that you're on. So while this sounds really nice in practice, I would really like to see how they're actually going to do this. Because native content and precisely targeted, these are not things that you can actually quantify. These are changes that will be perceived, but you won't be able to put an exact quantitative finger on how much this is improving something. So you'll need to see a working model of this AdEx network so we can actually see how they're going to be targeting ad blockers and ad block usage. Will they prevent ad blockers from working on their site altogether, or will they eliminate the need for ad blockers? Will they have scripts that show some ads in ad blockers and don't show others? There are a lot of questions that need to be answered about this, and I'm certain we'll have a better idea once the beta is launched. And the third aspect, the lack of focus. So one great thing about this AdEx team is that they are not trying to overstretch their capabilities. This entire team comes from this company called Streamio, and they have a long background in video on demand and streaming. They already have a model that relies on advertising and paid subscription for this. So it makes complete sense for them to kick off their initiative in a space that they truly understand. What they're doing is making sure that they can launch well and show actual results. Looking forward, they do want to have a version 2 of AdEx, and developing multiple subdivisions might actually be quite a nice thing because it'll increase their access to more advertisers. This looks quite good for their future prospects. So as an investor, you'll want to see this sort of thing. They have their project, but where will they take their project to once this gets off the ground? As I mentioned earlier, most of the team work together at Streamio. It's an Eastern European-based video-on-demand service. It's a lot like Plex and Kodi. So if you're a user of that, you might feel like giving this a shot. Their team is quite large, and I'm not going to look at every single member of this team, but there are two people who I've highlighted that I think deserve a special mention. The first is Vanina Ivanova. She is the only person in the entire core team that has experience in advertising. In being the sole representative from the ad industry in this company, there will probably be a lot of responsibility on her shoulders. But she has a fair amount of experience. I checked out her LinkedIn profile, and she doesn't seem to have much experience in those big 5 companies that I listed earlier, but that's not something I'm going to count against her. If she had one of those companies listed there, that would have been a huge positive. But because they are not there, it's not really a huge negative. But we need to see how this platform goes forward, and she'll probably have a massive say in that. The second person who I've highlighted should be no stranger for you if you've been the second person I've highlighted should be no stranger to you if you've been reading about Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and how Bitcoin mining works. Jihan Wu. Irrespective of what you think of his stance on the whole Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, block size argument, is an absolute rock star in this space. Their hardware is basically sorted now. They have access to one of the largest providers of ASIC and mining rigs in the world. So with Jihan will come a whole bunch of extra technological access. In terms of advisors, they don't come much better than this. So this team is really setting itself up well for future growth and for future traction in the market. If Jihan is going to be praising you, I'm pretty sure investors are going to be listening. So now that you know a bit more about the team, let's look at the numbers behind these AdEx tokens. So as of today, the 2nd of December 2017, it costs about $1.21. The circulating supply is under 60 million, and that puts it in the same sort of level of circulation as NAV and PIVX. A lot of the coins within that circulation bracket have a value of between $1 and about $4.50. Some go a little bit higher, but a lot of them fit in that little price range. So by just looking at the raw numbers, there might be potential of 4x growth on this, but we do not know that for sure because so many other factors affect the price action. Another thing that could affect price action is scalability. Reading the white paper got me thinking. If advertisers need to buy AdEx tokens, use those tokens to bid to publishers, the advertisers want the price of these tokens to be as low as possible. However, with the success of this company, the price of the tokens will probably go up. So that means it's not in the company's best interest for use of their platform if their platform is more expensive. So AdEx have specified in their white paper that there will probably be an add-on token to prevent too much scarcity and to stop the price from skyrocketing if this works. If this project works, it can really send waves in the advertising space, and it will really force people to reevaluate their business models. This is cryptocurrency. We are no strangers to 100% price increase in a single day and then 100% price drop the day after. So it's good that they've actually taken this into consideration. So now that you have a bit of basic information on AdEx, we need to see if we can time our purchase and entry into the market. So these are the key dates that they've listed on their roadmap. The AdEx tokens have been on the market for a few months, and we are just under 2 months away from the beta release of their platform. A price increase will probably happen in the run-up to this beta release because people are anticipating these tokens actually becoming useful. So now you're faced with a bit of a dilemma. Do you want to buy your AdEx tokens now, lock them up and not really spend them between now and then? 2 months is a long time in cryptocurrency, remember. Or do you want to wait a little bit longer and risk buying it at a higher price but closer to the time the price goes up? Remember, we do not know when the price is going up. We just have the 30th of Jan as a definite beta release date. People might start buying earlier, they might not. You need to weigh up the pros and cons of the situation for yourself. So let me show you what I think about certain aspects of this project. I've listed it in positive, neutral, and negative. So this is how I've listed the sort of things that I think will be quite key in determining the price action and maybe even longevity of the company. So the thing that I really like most is the market need. The advertising space is expensive, it's intrusive, and with blockchain technology, we really can change stuff for the better. The solution that AdEx is offering seems significantly better than what we currently have. If you want adoption, you do not give something incrementally better, you need to give something that's either much better and or much cheaper. So if AdEx can do both those things, we can really see some massive adoption. In launching other apps on the AdEx network, this might be good news for those looking to get into this on the long term. The beta coming in soon could really affect the price action in the near term. So those who want to get in and get out early, this is a possibility too. So the things I'm not really all that convinced about, or I don't have the expertise to actually run the rule on, is the code team. Because I'm not a programmer, so if there are any programmers watching this, please let me know what you think of their code, what you think of their platform. Do read the white paper and scrutinize it and let me know. Is there something I've overlooked? Let me know. I don't think the team is, to quote Ian Bellina, an all-star team, but their advisors will really help this team of fairly young people find their footing in a very, very competitive space. And that leads on to my negatives. The competition in this space is absolutely brutal. These are some of the biggest companies in the world, and they're not going to be disrupted without a fight. So if AdEx are prepared to play a very long, drawn out and expensive game to win market share, it will be an uphill battle. No one can come in and comfortably challenge these behemoths, because that's what they are. They are behemoths in not just the advertising world, but the business world. So this is a major uphill battle. And in not having a platform just yet, that can be seen as a negative, because a lot of people have invested in the company having not seen a working product. So the early investors either have a lot of faith in what this company can do, or they're hoping for a massive price increase so that they can offload their tokens. Either way, not having a platform is quite a large red flag for me when I'm going to invest in anything. I need to see a working product of some kind. So that now I've shown you my pros, cons, and neutrals, let's have a look at the price action. This is quite a large sample that I've selected. This is from September all the way to today. So what we can see is a very nice wedge forming. The highs are getting lower and the volatility is sort of evening out, and we should see this curve flattening at some point. This thing could be primed to move. It's not a guarantee that it will move, but it's setting itself up quite well for some price movement. It could be up, it could be down. But having looked at the resistance lines that have been created, it's not really dropped below that orange line. If you look at the far left of the screen, you can see that there's a little bit of a spur. That's because there was a key resistance line there. So when I lined everything up, it just seems to work. So the market has drawn itself a line in the sand on this. So I have listed that number. So where the orange line is, it is at 10,478 Satoshi. That is my buy order. So I set my buy order right there. I have a standing buy order there, and I've also put a buy order at 5% lower just in case the price drops. I can snap up some more. But that's just how I tend to trade. Whatever amount I set a trade at, I go 5% lower just in case I bought at a time that maybe wasn't as low as it could have gone. So you're probably not listening to me right now. Either way, you've probably just gone to Bittrex, put in your buy orders. So I shall end there. Thank you so much for all the likes, all the shares. We are almost at 100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. This feels absolutely fantastic to get this sort of response, to have these conversations that I've been having on Twitter, on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. I'm really glad you appreciate what I'm doing, and please Let's keep this conversation going. So, this is Ma from Crypto Simplified signing out. You guys have an awesome rest of the day and catch you tomorrow. Later.